I'm a protect Shy Yeti.
How are you? Hope you're fine. This is the Shy Yeti show.
Okay, away you go.
Why have I got horns?
Oh no.
Oh, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
Oh, there's gonna be some drama ahead.
All I wanted was a pie, and then I hatched out of an egg.
Okay, bring the mic over. He's ready to record.
Is it metaphorical? Is it deep?
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Good boy. He's got all that shy is bright.
Such a win.
Blimey, Governor, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Paul.
Quack, quack, quack.
Damn it, how he done it. Excellent.
735. Bonjour et bienvenue au podcast The Shy Life.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Shy Life Podcast with me, Paul the Shy Yeti. How are you doing? I'm alright. So, what's this episode going to be about? Well, it's going to be a poetry episode for a book that I released 20 years ago. The collection's called Lovesongs for the Bitter and Twisted. And, there's a fair few poems in here, and many I haven't read for a long while. So let's get started. Let's run that theme music, and when we come back, I'll read you some of my favourites. Okay? Right, let's run that theme music.
Darling, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
My favorite person is here.
Keep it rolling, keep it rolling.
Yes, but it's a positive thing, Paul. I like the Shy Life.
I'll go anywhere for a potato.
Delicious.
Hello, captors. How are you?
Oh,
Go Shy Yeti.
Oh, I hope he hasn't found out my secret. I think he has.
I love the Yeti test. It's my favorite thing.
If you thought that was bad, just listen to this.
Yeah, I'm strangely drawn to Yeti Uncle John's ankles as well.
I could eat my body weight in crisps.
Has anyone seen my hot sausage?
It's all gooey and easy.
Yum, 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 yum.
It was enormous.
I don't think I'm ready to speak about it.
Here comes the grizzly.
It's the Shy Life Podcast.
I can't wait for it to begin.
That's right, I'm just being an alien. I like that.
Hi there.
Marvelous. Marvelous, Paul.
Looking back, no, nothing about anything.
So, Lovesongs for the Bitter and Twisted. It was published in 2004. It was my 6th self-published collection and my 5th to include completely contemporary compositions. I say on the back cover that this is the first time that the collection has been published in any sort of formal way, although it did previously exist as a compilation with the autumnal EP, the previous collection that came out in 2003. There was, of course, a cut and paste version, a version that I copied and spiral bound and sold to one or two people, to some of my friends. But the version I'm reading is from the 10th anniversary edition. And on the back cover I say that the book contains a number of poems I still regularly perform, because I was still doing my my performance poetry shows back in 2013. Poems such as Crash Test Boyfriend, Cuddle Him, Dance Floor Slaughter, Flaunt Tradition, Granny Ethel Keeps Him Decent, Jealousy Did Him No Good, The Small Print and Wicked Santa. But as I was saying before, quite a lot in here that I never performed. In a minute I'll read you the list of the poems in the collection. There's a front cover obviously and a front page, and this book came out in October 2004 and the anniversary edition came out in April 2014. This version has quite a lot of photos, which the original didn't. Photos from the noughties and the tens, and there's a little introduction. There's my poem Basically, which is meant to be a very basic poem, and it is, which is sort of an introduction. The poems in this collection, I guess there's, about 40 or so. The titles are as follows: All the Old Dudes, As Good As You Gave Me, Baggage, The Bear Wonder, The Beast Below Stairs, The Biker and the Bear, Blame the 60s, Carving Up This City, Crashing Bores, Crash Test Boyfriend, cuddle him, dance floor slaughter, death on an empty stomach, exaggerate, elaborate, ad-lib, Fahrenheit 451, flaunt tradition, friends till I say different, funny isn't it, Granny Ethel keeps them decent, a healthy disinterest, I am a monster, I want to be a rockstar groupie, I was made for me, if I were a moo cow, inspiration, in two minds, the itch she kept on scratching, jealousy did him no good, kisses him, gentle affection, leaves on the line, legend of their making, let sleeping doggerel lie, let's all act the same way, London and I have an understanding, love for just a minute, marshmallow heart 3, motherhood didn't suit me, a nice cup of tea, nice life, shame, not a happy bunny, a piece of me, please keep this park tidy, psychosis girl, recklessly, reminder to myself, roleplay, city gent, save all your sick leave for me, she lied to him, the 7-day spy, the small print, sorry to keep you waiting, Tiddles has a problem, time will tell, what's your problem, and Wicked Santa. I mean, from this collection, the one I probably performed the most on the podcast, I would say is probably Granny Ethel Keeps Them Decent, which I'm sure I will probably record again today. But the back of the book has what I call behind the scenes. You also got all the dates of when each poem was written. Around this time I also did a few like compilations maybe that never saw the light of day. So 1 or 2 of these poems were written as extra poems for compilations. There's one called Pulling Faces, which, I wonder if that title sort of morphed into Mugshots, which is the collection after this. There's also Something New. I'm not quite sure what was contained in Something New, or Pulling Faces, really, or why I didn't finish those projects. Then you have a bit of writing about each of the poems. Stuff I wrote in 2004, when the book was originally finished, and then things I wrote in 2014, mainly about, had I recorded them for Shy Yeti on Location videos, had I performed them at the Poetry Cafe, or any other show I did. Quite nice to have that, even from my own point of view. But I know, as a reader of books and sort of person who likes finding out about old TV programmes, I like to have that sort of extra detail. So that's why I wrote these sort of fact files, because I knew that, if I was sitting down 20 years later, I wouldn't remember much detail about why I might have written them. So I thought it was best to do it at the time. And then it just happened that 10 years later, when I reissued the book, there had been developments in that I was performing them and doing videos for them. So it was a kind of good time to do that. I guess if I had done a later edition, I would be putting, I performed this on the podcast. But anyway, so yes, fact file. Then, these 10th anniversary reissue versions aren't as chunky a book as like my later collections were, where I put quite a lot, almost half the book, sometimes more than half the book, was behind the scenes things. Most of these reissues are only about 96 pages, 1 or 2 of them maybe over 100, but they're still a bit more substantial than the versions I put out when I just used to spiral bind them. There is a flyer, like a poster, or the poster is replicated. I did a show on Wednesday the 16th of April called Lovesongs of a Yeti, and that was to celebrate this reissue. And yes, my blog was going strong, of course, my YouTube channel, my Vimeo channel, which was never quite as well. Vimeo never quite took off in the way that YouTube did. It's still there, but at least it didn't take off quite as much for me as YouTube did. Twitter, Lulu, yeah. So let's get started. The first one I'll read, which I don't think I've read very often, is called All the Old Dudes. It was a play on, obviously, the song All the Young Dudes. Some of these, obviously, when I come to them now, occasionally I wince, or I think, ooh, that's a little bit near the knuckle, or I don't think I'd write that now, but we are living in, sort of different times. And So sometimes your opinions, even when you've written something, change. Okay, all the old dudes. Never underestimate an old dude, for they are everywhere, you'll learn. Though it's sometimes hard to see them, they are there at every turn. Old dudes are often overlooked. They will not give, they're on the make. They know exactly what they're doing, for there's no mileage for mistake. They'll twist your words, enslave your young, then sit there acting stum. They'll eat you out of house and home and never leave a crumb. Never underestimate an old dude, for they are everywhere you'll find. Treat them all with extra caution. Do please ensure they don't unwind. For an unravelling dude is dangerous, for they just tend to flail and shout. They know exactly what they're up to. There are whole gangs of them about. They'll release an oath, plot your demise, yet sit and smile and coo. They'll lead you on wild goose chases, know when the time is right to sue. Never underestimate an old dude, for they're everywhere, you know. Though it's sometimes hard to find them, I mean, it's not as if they glow. Oh, old dudes may be divided, but to cross them isn't wise. They know exactly what they're playing at, and still they wear a fool's disguise. They'll track you down, they'll trash your car, rise up a rebel yell. They'll drain you dry of spirits, crime lord, OAPs from hell. Never let old dudes elude you, they're one step ahead the game. You'll regret you ever tried to if you meant to pass the blame. They're not fools to be forgotten, they are cunning, never fake. If they catch you whilst you're sleeping, you may just find you never wake. It's a bit of a nonsense one, that one, I'll admit. I can usually sort of remember when I come back to my books if there was an undercurrent running through the book or if I was going through happy times. With this book, let me see, when did I start work on it? Some of the poems definitely go back to 2003, but it's quite late 2003. I can't 100% remember what else I was doing at this time, writing-wise. Yeah, a lot of these poems are 2004, early 2004. As I said, this book didn't come out till October, but there are one or two from December 2003, right up until sort of the summer of 2004. The sort of the later entries. This next one definitely sounds a bit angry. I think in 2004, thinking of the relationship poems, I suppose, I think I'd been sort of single, but looking. Certainly later in 2004, I was dating somebody quite happily, so yeah, I'm not sure. As I say, often it can be just a small hint, a small reminder, or a small idea that I just tend to blow up into something bigger, something that never directly happened to me. But then again, now and again, some of it's definitely quite close to what actually happened, but I'll let you guess which is which. This one's called As Good As You Gave Me. I'm preparing a surprise, my love, a thank you for the past. As good as you gave me, sweet, yes, one I hope will surely last. Let me do for you a favour like the one you once did me. Your clothes are in the garbage, now I've a brand new front door key. Stand safely back to set the fuse, encourage fire from a spark. I have for you a gift, my love, yes, I'll be sure it hits the mark. Yes, you certainly deserve it, now let's really see you live. Deal the same hand back to you, dear, as you gave me, now shall I give? So let's not be disagreeing. No, I'm not one to preach. You really taught me a tough lesson. Well, it is my turn now to speak. I really want you to remember, I really want you now to feel how bad you made me hurt, hun, and I hope your scars don't heal. The tide has turned on you, see, all bad feeling racing back. Only one thing undecided is the best form of attack. You aimed at me a vicious strike, a shot that caught me low. Now I'm lashing out at you, dear, so as to launch my callous blow. Be sure you know you've got it coming. Be sure I've got you in my sights. I'm going to make you really sorry. It's time I read you through your rights. The jury and the judge, love, they have already called your case. They have already found you guilty, reading blame upon your face. A revenge that's never ending, forgiving you against the law. How I'd love to see you squirming, just so we settle up our score. But there's no point now protesting, so you might as well just run. With the bloodhounds out to get you, oh yes, at last, this will be fun. Yeah, I never felt like that about anyone I dated. I don't think. I mean, one or two people who led me a merry dance, but then I find it quite easy to empathise. Or, you know, obviously you have friends who maybe go through things, and yeah, I often take an idea and, as I say, blow it completely out the water. This one's called Baggage. I have baggage. We all carry something. Things we bring from the old to the new. Here's my baggage. I thought I'd unpack it. Display it. Yes, lay it on view. My hang-ups more precious than jewellery. Life's cement for each poor, sorry bone. The result of a course left unguided. Well, at least I can call them my own. Unresolved hurt from my childhood. A fixation on jazz and the blues. I've the intellect of a tadpole and bad breath that could beat a gnu's. A deep nagging doubt about Santa since I learnt the tooth fairy were lies. The fact that I once wed a lady when I knew I were more into guys. A preference for wearing a hairpiece, yes, one that is curly and blonde. Once mistaken for Ursula Andress, yet not wooed away by James Bond. I've a truly bad craving for pickles, and I like popping them up my nose, before firing them out at small kiddies and knocking them down when I blows. I'm obsessive, I like sniffing knickers, when they're new though, displayed in the store. Getting felt up by hunky detectives makes it worth getting caught by the law. I'm unstable, yet beautifully tidy. I'm a nutter, yet good to my mum. House-trained, yet a serial killer. When you call out my name, I will come. I have baggage. I hope you'll accept it. These few things, trust they did not dismay. You're the same as us all. Let me help you. Let me lighten your load. Lead the way. Yes, our hang-ups are precious as treasures. The cement for each poor, sorry bone. The result of 2 lives, lacking guidance, celebrating how fucked up we've grown. None of those baggage things are mine. I don't have an obsession for jazz and the blues. I hope I've got an intellect bigger than a tadpole's. Yeah, I do have a nagging doubt about Santa. I didn't marry a lady. I didn't wear a wig, pretend to be Ursula. Actually, I did wear a wig. I didn't pretend to be Ursula Andress. I had to pretend to be Bonnie Langford. That was for something to do with Harry. But anyway, I don't sniff knickers. Not that there's anything wrong with that, if that's what you want to do. I don't put pickles up my nose. I don't snort them out at young children. I'm not a serial killer. I mean, I like cereal. I often have a big bowl of it for tea. This one's called The Beast Below Stairs. Below the stairs it crashed around, stumbled footsteps underground, a phlegm-filled cough, asthmatic wheeze. The floorboards creaked to the slightest sneeze, alerted us to that thing below. But what it was, soon we had to know. The who to send, who should we pick? Nervous now, Ma acted quick. Strangely smiled, said, Pa will go. Descent the stairs below. So down Pa went, he looked real pale. A dreadful risk, he must not fail. All prayed the mystery would be found, but from the dark came not a sound. After that, I often thought I heard Pa call. Alas, it wasn't him, the wind is all. He did not return, a month's gone by. Ma said, fate chose it as his time to die. She boarded up the stairs today, smiling said, once packed we'll soon away. So caught beneath those cellar stairs, the creature trapped now unawares. It can't escape its deep dark tomb, whilst we depart into the gloom. So as we flee condemned this night, as mother laughs, my soul despairs. Her heart is dark, she is to blame. There was no beast below the stairs. Dark. This one's called The Biker and the Bear. Now, this was definitely based on a date I had with a biker. And, yeah, we went to the cinema. He wanted to give me a ride back to Waterloo on his motorbike, and I was too scared. But I did write him a poem. You know, he was looking for a bear to ride about with. Alas, it wasn't me, but, yeah, I did write him this poem. I can't remember if he ever saw it, but wonder if I can even remember his name. Did I write it? Because I can't remember it in my head at this very moment. No. And also, there's a twist at the end, which isn't, well, I'll explain. The Biker and the Bear. One sweet London evening, a biker met a bear. The bear was kind of clumsy, but the biker didn't care. He'd been in search of such a rider, for to share his faithful steed, one who'd fiddle with his helmet and hold him tight indeed. "Come and take a ride here, Furball," said the biker with a grin. The bear just stood there staring with his head all in a spin. The bear was surely growlless. No, he could not say a word. Just stood there on the street and gaped as if he hadn't heard. "Don't be shy," did woo the bikie. "We'll go so fast your fur will fly." The bear was having visions, maybe worried he might die. Not from fear or dangerous driving, but the complete and utter thrill of holding close a biker. Oh joy! Such a hope very nearly made him ill. The bear climbed on the motor. 'Twas a truly awesome bike, though it was smaller than expected, size of a wee cub's trike. But the bear was not put off by this. Grinning broad, dismissed all fears, as they sped off across the city. Yes, they have done so now for years. One sweet London evening, a biker met a bear. The bear was kind of clumsy, but the biker didn't care. Now he's found his ursine rider, loyal companionship his need. Just a pair of biking buddies who share a love affair with speed. I like the silly idea that the bike was almost like one of those kids pretend motorbikes. I mean, it's ludicrous. I also felt perhaps afterwards it was a little bit of an insult to my biker friend's actual bike, which was from what I remember, a perfectly normal sized bike. But this one's called Carving Up This City. I can't remember if it was based on any particular dalliance, but it was more the idea of when you split up with somebody, you almost wish, you kind of think, oh gosh, if I go to that pub, will they be there? You almost wish you could sort of divide the town in two and go, okay, you stay on your side, I'll stay on my side. We need never bump into each other ever again. So that was the idea, carving up this city. There's really nothing for it. There's no getting round the fact. We are carving up this city. It's a silent, brutal act. London town's too small a place for us. We can no longer bear to meet. Sloane Square for you, Green Park for me, divided up now street by street. Like Monopoly playing out for real. Let us toss a dice to pick. No fighting over Walthamstow, neither Barnes nor Hampton Wick. Bank is yours and Monument. I'll even allow you Colindale, as long as I get King's Cross and I'm claiming Maida Vale. Limehouse, Kew in Camden Town, all yours, do as you will. Bagsy me a slice of Belsize Park and maybe Notting Hill. Piccadilly, any dilly, Leicester Square, the night is young. Paddington, Victoria, or where the bells of Bow are rung. I'll be far from you in Gunnersbury, there enjoying summer breeze. You're welcome to the Docklands, Ham and even Surrey Quays. Waterloo and Wilson Green, share them fairly one by one. Poplar, Ruislip, Perivale, till the last of them is gone. Greenwich, Oval, Mile End, Black Horse Road and St John's Wood. Build a wall to separate us. You see it's all for our own good. We must stay apart forever if we are lacking in good sense to keep bad love a smouldering, or there is simply no defence. There is really nothing for it, for now we must admit defeat. Finish carving up this city, then alas, no more shall we meet. This one's called Crashing Balls. I've definitely read this on the show before now. It's a short one. Crashing balls will fall the hardest the higher up they've gone. Victors mock the vanquished depending just how well they've won. Vicious dogs will bark the fiercest if you show how much you're scared. Ex-lovers oft more spiteful when they know you really cared. Fake tears may flood a river when they're cried so strong, so hard. Pulp writers write a sequel, some believe they are the bard. Yes, poets, girls and dogs and stuff can drive you off your nut. Best pretend you cannot hear them and make sure your eyes are shut. Crashing balls should be avoided, mustn't be allowed to pounce. When they fall, remove their trampolines, then that way they'll never bounce. This one's Crash Test Boyfriend. This is definitely one of my favourite ones from this collection. This one definitely mentions a location which relates to somebody I dated. Crash Test Boyfriend. She is rough with him, a rough girl. Treats her loved one quite bizarre. Sets the dogs on him twice weekly, down canals near Droitwich Spa. She's a baddie, makes him suffer, doing things that make him shake, like diving to the bottom of a whelk-infested lake. She's taskmaster. She's the villain, on the verge of being mad. He is weak and quite submissive, Crash Test Boyfriend. For sure the best she's ever had. She's cruel with him, a cruel girl, treats her loved one slightly wrong. She is tough, she's a bully, though she hasn't known him long. She's a meanie, likes to put him through stuff he surely can't survive, like fetching honey naked from an angry queen bee's hive. She's a slave master, she's the daddy now, her mind's a tad unsound. She enjoys it, unrepentant, crash test boyfriend, the best so far she's found. She's brutal, such a brutal girl, treats her loved one way, way harsh. Had him building her a tunnel beneath a stinky, boggy marsh. She's a savage, she'll push him harder, just to see if he will break. When she sees him start to suffer, she'll simply jeer and bellow, fake. She's past master, soon destroy him, her eager plaything, oh so weak. But she will never find another crash test boyfriend. The first, the last, unique. This one's called Cuddle Him. They always used to cuddle him, he always liked the fuss, played up to it in the workplace or in the morning on the bus. All the ladies and the gentlemen seemed to feel he had the look of someone who needed hugging. Sometimes they even had to book. So many liked to cuddle him. When they did, he'd start to purr. Some liked his sexy chest hair and lost their way deep in his fur. There were changes going on, but they didn't cause concern. His reputation was his making. Soon he charged £5 a turn. They always loved to cuddle him. High living made him fat. There was even more to hug then, so very few complaints at that. With his tummy getting rounder, folk were giggling with glee. The Guinness Book of Records said he was officially as cute as he could be. They always loved to cuddle him, to stroke the whiskers on his face. They all wanted him at bedtime, as if competing in a race. He loved it when they mothered him. He even let them plait his hair. With his furry ears and button nose, he was their real-life brownie bear. They wouldn't let off cuddling. It was bound to all go wrong. His fans were somewhat rough, and some were also very strong. Oh, they cuddled and they huggled, till his poor old bones did crack, until he simply fell to bits, crumbled away, then got the sack. They always liked to cuddle him. It was addictive like a drug. Really, cuddles can be good things. Just do beware how hard you hug. Yes, alas, this is a warning. Next time, take a greater care. Only cuddle, never smother with your own human teddy bear. This one's called Dance Floor Slaughter. Pop Commando, Disco Queen, Dance Floor Slaughter is her scene. Hacksaw, quick steps, tango fight, piling bodies up tonight. Death stilettos, glitter ball, time to dance or not at all. Strike out deadly, cut them down, bloodshed all across the town. Whiplash lovin', fevered brow, nightclub rampage burning now. Hang the DJ, hear them chant. She cannot kill to page and plant. Pop Commando, Disco Queen, Dance Floor Slaughter is her scene. Crimson colours, dance floors red, leaving footprints, so to bed. If there's any of you out there who don't know who Page and Plant are, well, they're from Led Zeppelin, but they also, I think they did at least one album as a duo, probably around the time that I wrote the poem. This one's called Death on an Empty Stomach. Death on an empty stomach's not a recommended choice, not something bound to make me jump around nor sing rejoice. I reckon 'twould be painful, empty tum switched down on low. Death on an empty stomach don't sound good to me, you know. A gurgling of belly might just throw the reaper's stroke. He might slip and strike a kitty, newly born and just awoke. How'd you feel if you were blamed for such tragic feline end of days? Simply 'cause you'd missed your dinner, that's why a diet never pays. Death on an empty stomach, well, it won't amount to bliss. If you'll find your standard slipping, well then just consider this. Don't you reckon 'twould be rotten to be required one last snack? Yes, death on an empty stomach leaves you open to attack. A croaking in your belly might just knock death's blow aside, which could set a nun on fire, causing cars to swerve, collide. Make all clowns bereft of humour, Moby Dick to sink and drown. Leaves may fall from off the treetops in midsummer, shrivelled brown. Death on an empty stomach only leaves to feeling off. So do persevere with eating. Please chow down and really scoff. That way you're going to feel much better, having quit that pointless fast. Death on an empty stomach. Fill up now, your life is past. A grumble in your belly could well spoil the reaper's plans. So tuck in without conscience on the pies and beers and flans. Death on a silent stomach ensures that nothing will go wrong. On the day you meet your maker, when dear old Death, she comes along. Of course, Death is a woman. She would be in my poem. I have to change things around a bit. You always think that Death tends to be represented as a sort of a spooky skeletal man, but why should Death be a man? Death can be a woman too. This one's called Fahrenheit 451. It's a pun on, well, the book and film Fahrenheit 451. It was nearly going home time, it was nearly time to go. The clock which read 4:30 was perhaps a minute slow. There was much to do before 5. There were books to be arranged, customers to be dealt with and rotas to be changed. But she was tired of the library. She'd really had enough. She was sick of pompous readers always getting in a huff. She was seen as so conservative and never full of lust. She hated every volume that still coated her in dust. Well, she was frantic now, obsessive, concerning what she had to do. Looking at the clock, the time already read 4:42. Loathing every minute that she worked within that place. Well, she had planned a sweet revenge, which all her customers must face. It would make her bosses sorry, trapped there within and sure to die. She would delight in all their suffering, just to see those bastards fry. Down below her in the basement, she quickly smiled, recalled her plan. There weren't that many minutes left, so she took her bag and ran. 4:48, 4:49, the minutes crawling on. In the basement, bombs were ticking. Soon the library would be gone. 4:50, just a minute, and not a moment more. But 4:51 came passing. 4:52, a floor? 4:53, still nothing. The building silent as the grave. For this had only been a test run. Next time they'd not be saved. Next time, and very soon now, she'd not greet the dead with sorrow. Soon she would carry out her master plan. Next month, next week, maybe tomorrow. Yeah. Librarians aren't as innocent as they appear. The next one's called Flaunt Tradition. I choose to flaunt tradition, I choose this way to be. I will have a mug of whiskey, not a milky cup of tea. I prefer to do whatever all the other guys do not. If they're serving plates of ice cream, I would rather eat mine hot. When folks struggle into offices, I always slumber way past noon. I love to sunbathe in the winter, have my Christmas day in June. I like to watch the telly static, it's the best show on the box. Stick my fingers into sockets, because I like to get the shocks. I choose to celebrate my birthday every day but when was born. I refuse to fake politeness and quite openly I yawn. I turn my back to royalty, laugh at children, large or small. I embrace all loony factions, yes, when e'er they care to call. I wear pink on sad occasions and dress in black on happy days. I always stare at fiendish bigots and I'll never shift my gaze. Oh, how I choose to flaunt tradition. I'll decide what's wrong, what's right. If you spend enough time with me, I'll soon convince you black is white. This one's called Friends. Till I say different. I definitely had some friends around this point who, I was sort of in a gang with them. And unfortunately, I couldn't agree when they wanted to ditch some of our friends. And eventually I got ditched by them. So yes, it felt very much like you were their friends until you fell out of line. And then, yeah, friends till I say different. We stay friends until I say different. Believe me, I'll give you the sign. Being around me is surely an honour. Don't go losing your place in the line. It's so good to have someone like you here, underlining just how far I've grown, to remind me I once wasn't wealthy, I could not afford socks or a phone. I look down at you, make you feel good, see. It makes me feel smart, mighty high. If you thought you were equals, you're wrong, dear. If you thought it, you're living a lie. Hey, we stay friends until I say otherwise. I'm the one, yes, who raises his voice. You will follow me as a disciple. Turn me down? Well, you don't get that choice. It is good to have someone like you round, to remind me I'm saintly and trim. Rest my feet on your back as you're working, with a toothbrush clean under the rim. I look forward to seeing you suffer. I can never remember your name, be it Anthony, Stephen or Dumbo. I see now you regret that you came. We shall stay friends until I grow weary of your cheap, chavvy ways one by one. You'll still tell me how good I am sounding, long after all my friends they are gone. It is good to have praise here on Tapsy, to remind me when even I had forgot that I'm clever and handsome, a talent, all these things that I have that you're not. I look forward to leading the way here. Yes, 'tis I who will make every move. I shall smother you with my abuses, till I have nothing at all left to prove. We'll stay friends, till I'm bored of your presence. I may do as you once did to me, a gibbering wreck left abandoned. Yes, one day I might just set you free. It is good that our roles are reversed now, that our poor sorry places are switched. I used to bow down to your bidding, was befuddled, bamboozled, bewitched. I reminisce, and I feel such contentment. Focus back, I recall every mile. I'm so pleased I reduced you to this sea. Now you're my friend, and I can't help but smile. Needless to say, yes, I think I wrote that when I was pretty raw about being dumped. And yes, the two people who treated me like that were Anthony and Stephen. Anthony later apologised. Stephen didn't. But, yeah. Now, here we come to Granny Ethel Keeps Them Decent. Granny Ethel keeps them decent, those naughty garden gnomes. She knits them woolly jumpers, sets them up in starter homes. They sit there simply fishing, yes, from dusk until the dawn. They have nowhere else to go, poor loves, they just look so forlorn. But they surely are more cheerful, since Granny Ethel intervened. They throw the goldfish back now, always keep the pond side cleaned. Granny Ethel keeps them decent, any nudist teddy folk who go out there to a picnic and think nakedness a joke. No one likes to see a bear half-dressed, exposing all his fur, loitering in the woodland in a semi-alcoholic blur. Thanks to Granny, they no longer get the shivers, knees that knock, and passing woodland walkers are not given such a shock. Granny Ethel feels the same about all the girls there on page 3. She draws them frilly knickers, even though it might seem twee. No one wants to see a pretty gal minus clothing. Quite bizarre. They obviously do not pay enough. Poor dear, she can't afford a bra. Granny Ethel gives them modesty. Granny Ethel knows what's best. Whether model, gnome or teddy, it's better not to flaunt one's chest. Yeah. That's exactly what my granny, who was called Ethel, did. She drew lingerie on the girls on page 3. Page 3 doesn't even exist anymore, so Granny was right. Those poor girls. I only know that because I found a load of the newspapers in a shed when I was young. Oh dear. I like reading that poem because it reminds me of Grandma. This one's called A Healthy Disinterest. I show healthy disinterest in the sludge that fills the news. I do not follow in the fortunes of the reds, nor pinks, nor blues. I'll not be swayed by legend. I'll not turn my head to gaze at eccentric people showing off their prima donna ways. Hold my head up to ignore them. I'll pretend I cannot hear all those fools and scandal mongers who like to scoff or simply sneer. Princess Di there on the cover does not sell a book for me, though I have been known to notice when I'm given stuff for free. I hold healthy disinterest in the gossip and the chat. I'm really not too bothered who is this week's dirty rat, or the latest next big thing, or last year's new front page face. Well, 1 minute they're a hero, next a has-been or disgrace. They build them up to knock them down, yes, that's the way the business goes. Photos of the vaguely famous dressing up or minus clothes. Photos when they sometimes crave them. Photos if they're rudely papped. Fans whispering through their keyholes, making sure the phones are tapped. I fake healthy disinterest in the fools amongst the crowd. They would like to learn about me, but they know they're not allowed. It is I who gets the final say. I'm the one who stands apart, as I tinker and I trifle and upset the apple cart. I'm above all that, I tell you. I'm not instructed what to write. Cover headline, Evening Standard, when you're heading home tonight. It is I who pays the wages. It is I who holds the strings. With a snide, controlling vision, sat aloof, yet smiling in the wings. Nothing much has changed. This one's called I Am a Monster. I'm another ghoul in training. Come poke me and you'll see. I'm just the fiercest monster yet. I'm just as hard as I can be. A big, bad, ugly monster. Yes, I'm gonna be one good. Yes, I'll climb up taller towers than poor old King Kong ever could. I'm a monster. though you'll rarely hear me growl, just popping down the pub before I start my evening prowl. I am a beastie, with the demeanour of a lamb. I don't much like eating virgins, so could you do a scone with jam? I am a monster, though not so fearsome in the face, amongst the other creatures perhaps a little out of place. I'm a critter, I'm a stompy, angry brute. Although I'm scared of haunted forests, I'll always seek the safer route. I am a monster. It should be stinky in my cave, but my odour is too pleasant, which means I really mustn't bathe. I'm a demon. Am I scary? I'm not sure. I have bird's nest hair and folk think I'm Robert Smith. He's from The Cure. Oh, I'm a monster. Yes, I mean to see it through, but if I saw you, I'd say, hiya. Well, I ought to boom out, boo. I am a danger. More to myself, I sadly fear. Just want to be a proper weirdo, so that no one's going to jeer. Just another freak in training. Would you dare to cuddle me? I don't think that I would eat you, at least not immediately. A big, bad monster. It's not my bag, though has its gain. I'm just too nice, so won't you trust me? Promise you'll not suffer too much pain? This one's called I Want to Be a Rockstar Groupie. I want to be a rockstar groupie. I want to be a girl who's it. I want to live my life like cats do, a bit like Eartha Kitt. I want to pose for daring photos with a cameraman named Jim. Keep on flirting till it's tea time, then perhaps seduce him on a whim. I just adore to go out clubbing, shooting home, catch 40 winks, then out again at midnight to bag the Beatles, Stones or Kinks. I want to be in the Avengers. I want to be like Emma Peel. Want to wear a skimpy miniskirt, fake fur, not from a seal. I want to do high kick karate. Want to knock the baddies down. Have exciting lovers smitten, scattered all over London town. I'd embrace the spirit of the 60s. Then I'd smoke a lot of pot. Then sleep with whom I chose to. All responsibilities forgot. I want to dance in silken hot pants. On ready, steady, go. Do wop in perfect harmony to tunes I barely know. I want to practice my best shimmy, want to prove I'm really best. But deep down I have a worry, I'm just not up there with the rest. I'll never be a 60s chick, no. Admitting this, it makes me choke. 'Cause I'm fat and I'm middle-aged now. And what's more, I'm a bloke. Still I want to be a glamour kitten, yet despite not fitting in, I'm keeping holding in my stomach until I'm looking vaguely thin. Dress me up in something slinky, I can convince when on the stage. With your eyes screwed up and squinty, I look quite special for my age. Yes, still I'll be a rockstar groupie. To hell if I look completely weird. I would do it and enjoy it too. But do I have to shave the beard? I think any man who wouldn't have dreamt of being a go-go dancer in another life is probably in denial. I mean, it's probably the greatest job in the world, but you have to exist in the 60s, appearing in the background in an episode of Man from U.N.C.L.E. or something. I mean, alas, it'll never happen for me. But this is called I Was Made for Me. In love with me, with myself, we met through mutual friends. It's been the making of me. We're inseparable, out again in romantic candlelight, making ready we bathe together, reflective, watching me dress. Such a fashionable taste in clothes. I approve. The music playing is also to my taste. Fingertips pressed together, twin-like yet solitary. I was made for me. A perfect match. Taking me out for dinner, I wine and dine myself. I must be glowing with pride. I'm so lucky to be me. I look good. We have such a lot in common. Always in agreement. What handsome eyes. What striking features. Can't wait for a kiss as cold as frost. Gently caressing the glass with lips that do not flinch. Here is where we meet. I can't wait until later when we're alone. Alone and at one in our tiny mirrored home. Up in the attic room. Coffin fresh. Hands exploring greedily. Aroused and uninterrupted. Naked and exposed. I could want for nothing more. For it was meant and made for me. There can be no other. That's nice and creepy. This one's called If I Were a Moo Cow. If I were a moo cow, I would not settle for my lot of grass and milk and mating and then chances are of getting shot. Who wants to end their days as fast food, served up with shakes and fries, or mushed up with other bovines? They use it all, even the eyes. If I were a moo cow, then I'd have a better plan. No more flies or crappy mud baths like some bovine also ran. I'd set off and get my hair done, buy a trendy pair of shoes. Sure, I'd have a fuller figure, but with sarongs you just can't lose. If I were moo cow, I would thrive in my new life. I might even go speed dating, though I'm Noble's little wife. I'd fancy playing hard to get, see, sleep around quite loose of hoof. In the evening wine and dine them, in the morning act quite aloof. Yes, if I were a moo cow, then I'd escape the bonds that tie. I'd head off to see a movie or just sit back and watch the sky. Oh, how I plot my next adventure. It's never easy to decide. Will I fancy bungee jumping or perhaps a free-fall glide? Yeah, if I were a moo cow, I'd not settle for just grass. Front of queue at Wimbledon, and I'd let no blighter pass. See my face in all the papers and there in the wanted files. Explicit teat shots at the ivy after nights out on the tiles. But I'm now no more a moo cow. Thus there's no more chance for fun. Yes, I've left it much too late. Now I'm a sausage in a bun. I spent far too long daydreaming of what I'd maybe like to do. So now, alas, ex-moo cow, simply here for you to chew. This one's called Inspiration. Won't you inspire me? Call me up, pretend to hire me. Kiss me quick, then fire me. Set alight my life. Hey, inspire me. Feel free to go and bury me. Drink half a pint of sherry with me. Or just simply ferry me somewhere, anywhere. Just change my old routine. Please, inspire me. Go on, make me humble. Make me tumble for you. Piss in my apple crumble, why don't you? Hell, it might even get me thinking. Honey, inspire me. Go on, shag me senseless. Take me out when I'm quite defenceless. I couldn't care less. I really couldn't. So won't you just inspire me? Make a liar of me? Oh, won't you just take me higher? Gee, go ahead and tire of me. Sing out of tune in the choir with me. Just be plain shyer than me. Oh man, you're the guy for me. Take me in your arms and throttle me. Sweet inspiration. Some of these are quite dark. I'm sure you can cope, listeners.
Clicks. I got the a C cat thief. Cat thief. I am a work of art. Hear me singing, I'm a cat thief. A C cat thief. Cat thief. I'm gonna steal your heart. Should you give me trouble, I'll give you claws of applause. I've got to be a C cat thief. Cat thief. I am a work of art. Hear me sing if I'm a cat thief. A C cat thief. No matter what you say, I'm never gonna stop. While you're being cast, still I'll never fail. If you try to protest, I'll tie you up with my tail. If you leave food out, I will steal your bug. I'm not just a cat thief, also a cat burglar. You may think you're clever, while I'll not be outwitted to a life of crime. I am superbly fitted. I'm a cat thief, a C-C-C cat thief. A cat thief, I am a work of art. Hear me sing it, I'm a cat thief, a C-C-C cat thief. I'm gonna steal your heart. I'm a cat thief, a C-C-C cat thief. A cat thief, a C-C-C cat thief. I'm gonna steal your heart.
Right, the next poem is called In Two Minds. I'm in two minds, I'm quite uncertain. My life, it seems, is full of holes. Should I dress for tea or wear a curtain? Take my bike along or bring the rolls? I'll do one thing, though think another. I'm far from sure of my own mind. I'll flirt with you, but woo your mother. I'm odd like that, I think you'll find. I'm quite aware, can't take a hint. I'm half asleep, yet wide awake. I'm generous, yet such a skinflint. I can't decide, make no mistake. I'm in two minds, feel quite defeated. Off out the door, yet here to stay. I'm riding high, then come unseated. I know I've got to lead the way. I love you loads, though can't abide you. I dither till I'm quite unsure. Should I quit or see the way through? I'm saintly, often so impure. I'll buy in blue, though love the peach. I'll eat the steak, I wanted fish. I'm feeling hoarse, let's make a speech now. Cross my toes and make a wish. I'm in two minds, it's not the first time. I know I've got to make a stand. I'm guarded, but that's not my worst crime. I feel it's gotten out of hand. I abhor the things that once I lusted. I'm forgetting whom I'm meant to be. I've become someone who can't be trusted. A stranger who really isn't me. I'm in two minds, my head is spinning. I've lost my way and dropped behind. A losing streak when once was winning. Either completely sane or out my mind. The next one's called Jealousy Did Him No Good. Jealousy did him no good, his heart so envy green. He was surely the most jealous man that I have ever seen. He was jealous of butterflies so pretty of wing. He was jealous of autumn and jealous of spring. He was deadly enraged by the stars in the sky. The planets and moons simply caused him to cry. Why can't I be unique, bright and special like you? The clouds sympathized, still his jealousy grew. Jealousy did him no good. His eyes were envy green. He was surely the most jealous man to grow up in Aberdeen. He was jealous of sunrise and blossom on trees. He was jealous of muscles and knobbly knees. He was way too upset when the dead rose to walk. Even worse still than this were small birds that could talk. You should stick to just flying, not to talking as well. As jealous as ever, he screamed, "Oh, just fly off to hell." Jealousy did him no good. His blood boiled over green. He was surely the most jealous man, and worse than ever, he was mean. He was jealous of happiness, jealous of those who ran around starkers and shed all their clothes. He was maddened by kindness and charity fair, and folk who'd risk things for a damn silly dare. He was jealous of those with a reason to live, not like him grizzled up and with nothing to give. He was jealous of life, every sweet sublime twist, for the chances he'd scorned and now all that he'd missed. So envious became that he drunk himself green. He smiled as he took to his bed, swore to change his old ways, which it seems that he did. Now he's no longer jealous, just dead. This one's called Kisses Him, Gentle Affection. Kisses him gently. Page falls open at the same place every time. Kisses him gently. Paper creased, ruffled from too much gentle affection. Over-egged adoration from moist lips. Kissing him gently, transfixed there. He cannot escape. The acidic saliva, the sticky-fingered agitation. He is distant, elsewhere and unknowing of the love he is missing. Kissing him gently, carefully taking out the scissors to cut him free from his confines, to snip away all unwanted intruders, leaving just him. Now he can be added to the collage to help cover the expanse of wall space that harbours his many twins. Kissing him gently, kissing every one of them, eyes closed, imagination run riot, moist thoughts urgently searching for him. So many nights gasping his name with affection. Kisses again, hands stroking his face. Oh, that smile, distant and unaware. Scissors sharp, carefully stroking the blade. A gentle affection. Soon they'll be together. Pin-up guy, bachelor boy, engagement sham, salty kisses, a rock-hard response. Pinned down like some human butterfly, wings broken gently. An affectionate display. Kisses him deadly, yet with love. This one's called Leaves on the Line. It was a sad, sad day, the day things changed, when the people who brought you commuter travel, transport at the speed of a snore, took over the amusement park. Everything went rapidly downhill, except for the roller coasters. Leaves on the line, choking up the log flume. Lightning caused signalling delays on the merry-go-round, all due to overrunning engineering work at the weekend. The helter-skelter was hit by severe delays. Nobody really believed the deadpan announcement. We apologise for any inconvenience to your journey. When, soon after, the bumper cars bumped their last bump, tinny, mindless recorded computer words took the blame for others' poor decisions. When the ice cream turned to liquid and began to boil, back at the model railway, the departing visitors shook their heads sadly at the news of a fatality on the line. Many went away dissatisfied, yet still new visitors came along every day. Efficiency dropped, fares rose, and yet still nobody got to ride the teacups. The man who swept out the petting zoo was made redundant after 30 years, all because cutbacks had been called for. Soon the boss's new office filled the site where once he'd cleaned. The fat cats got fatter still. The men at the top still got their bonuses. The big-time deals kept being made. The senior promotions kept on coming and the franchises grew. I can see it, not so far off from now, from the geniuses who brought us commuter travel, from the brains who brought us amusement parks for the 21st century. Now they're proud to announce holiday camps on the moon. They have the knowledge and the expertise. They sense the gravity of the situation. Just nobody mentioned the holiday makers last seen floating out past Jupiter, their faces bloated and frozen mid-scream, thanks to faulty spacesuits. Just don't mention the Big Dipper, last seen heading for a black hole, like some long-lost metal centipede. Free-flying, death-defying, out of control, and superspatial. Extraterrestrial half-term tourists choking up the universe. Just insignificant leaves on the line to infinity. Coming soon to a galaxy near you. The next one is Let's All Act the Same Way. Let's all act the same way. Why don't we mirror every move? We must believe accepted theory. Now there's nothing left to prove. Let's all dance to easy listening. Let's all tut when talk is loud. Looking up to those in power, we all feel so very proud. Let's see all things the same way. Just one view, the one that's right. No need for wide discussions. No own corner left to fight. Let's all hum what tops the charts now. Laugh at only PC jokes. We should all love toast and Marmite, preferring eggs with runny yolks. Hey, let's all think the same way. Let us repeat each other's lives. Stand politely in a line to greet a fierce clenched bunch of fives. Let us not agree to differ. Hey, shall we all agree to be the same in mind and vision? Sheep-like clones, hurrah are we. Let's all live the same way. The only style should be our own. There's no need to cast aspersions, merely set our rules in stone. Let us mock all who are different. Despise all those who disagree. Put a tax on self-expression, here where nothing comes for free. Let's be proud we're all the same now. Let us crush all that is new. We don't fear the opposition. Change is threatened by a few. Going round and round in circles, chasing tails, you'll hear us bray. Let's act together, not divided. You'll see there is no other way. I mean, I'm sure it was the case 20 years ago, but it feels even more so. People's differences in opinion seem to cause even more trouble than they used to. Although some of the opinions that are more popular are the sort of topics that most people thought had been sort of done and dusted years and years ago. The sort of people who go on about life in the 1950s when they weren't even alive themselves, like somehow the 1950s were a great time or something. That one seems even more relevant than it did when I wrote it, especially since Brexit. But, moving on, this is called London and I Have an Understanding. London and I have an understanding. What she says goes, no argument. We are not equals. I have known this from the start. Of course, she has her expectations, her standards. Always I maintain a healthy respect for her wishes. In return, she allows me to walk the streets of her more affluent boroughs. She sees that I dine well, date well, that I earn a good living. I am suitably rewarded for my attention to her well-being. I am grateful, nevertheless. I dress well, conduct myself well. I take care to only ever step out with those who add to her finery. Together we walk her avenues and we shine for her. London and I have an understanding. I tend to her, whitewash graffitied walls for her, and in turn she allows me to enjoy the sight of handsome workmen, stripped to the waist and perspiring, up high on scaffolding during long hot summer days. She allows me a few such pleasures. She calls them my perversions, but I suspect that she is also the first to encourage them. Often she sends me the odd lusty trinket. Well, a man must have his sport. What I do after hours isn't of interest to her. We both know the rules, but only she is allowed to break them. London and I have an understanding. She is a wise and learned mistress. We do not disagree. Why, who am I to contradict her? She has been here longer than any of us. She was always here, even before they built upon her. And so I carry out my business and she leaves me be. In return I send her the lost and lonely ones, those who have nowhere safe to cower, those who shiver, wide-eyed at night, watching her hunt. Little do they know I have given them away to her, every last one of them, a feast fit for an insatiable hunger. London and I have an understanding. We both know that I am in this right up to my neck in my commitment for her, that there is no going back as far as I'm concerned, not now. She knows I'm hooked on her, that I'm dependent, infatuated, that I'll always take another swig of her, inject another phial of her, that I am there, sitting by the phone, just waiting for another call from her. I cannot give her up. I cannot rebel. There's no spitting her out and forgetting her. She's part of me now, and there is only one escape. But, until then, London and I understand one another, and that is good enough for me. A year or so before this, I wrote a poem about Florence. I went to Florence on holiday, and I kind of thought, well, you know, I'm going to be really inspired being in Italy, a country that, well, I don't think I knew at that point. I think that was my first trip. I don't think I knew it was going to be such a place that I loved at that stage. But I came back having written I did write a poem about Florence, but really it was completely ridiculous. And it started my tradition of writing about cities like they were people. So I wrote one about Paris or LA, Hollywood, and as if they were sort of people that I was dating. And obviously that one was about London, but how London sort of can take you over. And obviously this isn't based on any facts or any truth. It's just the idea that a metaphor, you know, how moving to the big city can change you, not necessarily in a good way, or imagining London as an entity, a creature almost. And this next one's called Love for Just a Minute. How lovely, there before me, I see you now through the glass. I'm on my rounds and there you are. I've never seen you before, but oh, you're just perfect. I wonder, can you see me? I try and alert your attention. I wave, but in vain. As I pass close to where you are, what I see looks so good to me. Your skin is golden, your eyes bright, and yet you look a little lonely, uncertain, like you've suddenly woken from a dream, slightly shaken, disorientated. Still, I watch you. I sense my time is running out. Already I know it is love. I know you can't hear me, not from where you are. From where I exist, sounds don't carry well. The glass between us is too thick. Hey, do you believe in telepathy? Hell, I should just go ahead and say it, because if I don't, then I know I'll forget. It's just the way I am. So I'm saying this, and I'm thinking it real hard too. I love you. There, it's done, and now I must go. I know I'll never see you again, my sweet, but if I do, then I'll not remember it. I will try and will dare to dream that perhaps it will be the same for you. It's nothing personal, you know, it's just the way us little fish are, swimming on around my tank in total abandon, in and out of awareness. You begin to gain memory as time goes on, only to have it snatched away again. I see you now through the glass of the aquarium, there before me, oh so lovely. I'm on my rounds, and there you are, in your own little tank. I've never seen you before. I'm trying to make out your name on the glass, but, oh, you're just perfect. I wonder, can you see me, and could you ever love me back, my lady piranha? So yes, that was a piece about a goldfish in a bowl, whose memory is notoriously short. A goldfish who's fallen in love with a piranha. I mean, this is a love song for the bitter and twisted. Also, maybe for a goldfish. It should be called Love Songs for Goldfish, perhaps. Well, this one's called A Nice Cup of Tea. I've had a bad day, I need to relax. To lie down and please catch just a wink. It's been raining out there and I'm covered in mud and no one cares less what I think. No one cares less, they're all glued to TV, smiling they're hooked with a nice cup of tea. I've had a bad day, I've done a bad thing. Quit my job, marching right out the door. Had enough of my boss and his wandering hands. Now he won't. Oh no, not anymore. But no one cares less, no one listens to me. Simply nod as they pour out a nice cup of tea. I've had a bad day, all kicked off after work. Quite alone when I thought he'd be gone. He made an advance, tipped me over the edge. Soon he wished that he'd never begun. Still seems no one cares less, that no one can see that I'm covered in blood, sitting here sipping tea. I've had a bad day. Hit my boss really hard, then dumped him into our large paper shredder. As his screams quickly died, yes, I smiled to myself. He was gone and he couldn't be deader. Presuming nobody cared, dug a grave by our tree, but soon they offered me help and a nice cup of tea. I've had a bad day, though now it's over and done. His remains are all buried away. Here all tucked up so warm, the weekend it cools, but in safe haven I think I shall stay. Here where they couldn't care more, they crowd around motheringly, all worries dismissed by that nice cup of tea. This one's called A Piece of Me. I've got them queuing down King's Road for me. I've got them doing foolish jigs. I've got them camping at the door for me and wearing silly wigs. I've got them climbing up Big Ben for me and committing acts of crime. The things they wouldn't do for me, except that now they're doing time. They want just a little piece of me, peering in to check the view. Not a single thing remains for me, well, that's really nothing new. They gather close around to see, lined up to join the queue. One day may be amongst the crowd, but no, it's never you. I've got them sending me underwear first class. I've got them selling their family to meet. Marriage proposals sent here never ending. Got them trotting to work in bare feet. Got them taking short walks off long piers now. Next they're singing love songs out of tune. Kids, kittens and cars christened after me. Got them baying my name to the moon. So they want a little piece of me, an arm or foot in shoe. Bouncing lovingly all over me, yes, there are really quite a few. But I'm no Santa there to hop upon. They will crush me till I'm blue. I wouldn't mind if I imagined that one of them might just be you. I had them inventing the wheel for me. I had them paying out for shares. I've given every single piece of me. Now it's over, now I'm theirs. And still the only one who cannot guess, who has no clue, who cannot see why they ever wanted to be seen with me, is me. They wanted everything from me back then when they began. Now no longer clinging leech-like, the fickle love span of the fan. Yet still I wait here hoping, and I pray perhaps it's true, that all the pieces they discarded might one day find their way to you. This one's called Recklessly. Reckless, abandon me out with the trash. Recklessly squander me, do something rash. Recklessly ravish me, whisk me away. Fecklessly plunder me, please have your way. Fecklessly ridicule me, humiliating charade. Awaken next morning tied up in the yard. Reckless, reject me, then show me the door. Recklessly flirt with me, leave me unsure. Recklessly woo me with flowers and wine. Feckless, dismiss me, my heartstrings entwined. Feckless, left sobbing and feeling the loss. Won't you teach me a lesson, just just show me who's boss. Reckless, now crush me, please leave me a mess. Recklessly crucify me, couldn't care less. Recklessly distance me out in the cold. Recklessly cradle snatch, make me feel old. Recklessly splinter me, shatter me whole. Completely dissolving me, make that your goal. This one's called The 7-Day Spy. On Monday, being sinister, in a rainmack in the yard, attempt blending in the background, he is trying really hard. He is hoping no one noticed that his face was beetroot red. On Wednesday, out there skulking, umbrella tipped down low, he mutters to his cell phone, all the family there in tow. On Thursday, acting shifty at a bus stop in a rut, the kids give him trick toffee, now his teeth are last sealed shut. On Friday, what an oddball, he spies upon a wicked crime, but falls into a manhole ending top to toe in slime. On Saturday, peculiar, undercover at the game, arriving when it's over, which is really kinda lame. On Sunday, sinister as ever, in sou'wester once again. There's more water in than outside, his old boots filled high with rain. A week spent undercover, yet one day he'll make the grade. With just a bit more practice, he'll be the best spy the unit ever made. Another Monday, a day off shopping, in combats looking mean. No attempt at blending in the background. Guess what? Today he goes unseen. The next one's called Time Will Tell. Obviously, I'm skipping through some of these. I'm not reading every one. Time Will Tell. I think I wrote a poem years later, which I guess was another version of this. I haven't read this one for years. But yes. I've written a few poems about time and how, like, sort of talking about time like it's a person. This is Time Will Tell. Time will tell, oh will it? What for sure will time impart? Advice for rowdy children who are suffering for their art. Will time go cook your dinner? Will time go make the bed? No, but time will screw your husband whilst it resurrects the dead. The time is universal, now's the time to make amends. Time to go and do the gardening, time to piss off all your friends. Time will tell the time for you, for only time knows how time works. Time will offer you a timeshare and many other jolly perks. Now's the time to get a watch scene, not a time to take a break. Time will make you really shudder and will keep you wide awake. Time won't ever make you happy, no time won't sit and just give head. Time will sit and simply giggle before it turns on you instead. Time will tell, you know it, every sinister detail. Clocks are swiftly ticking, ticking. Time will soon catch you without fail. Well, listeners, that's about it. As I said, you've probably got the lion's share of that book, but I can't read them all. Yes. Well, next up we'll be reading from Mugshots, but that won't be until next year. There were 2 books that came out in 2005, the last 2 of my originally hand-produced collections, Mugshots and Poetiquette. And then from 2006 onwards, I was designing the books, knowing that I was publishing them on Lulu with photos, and then sort of went back and, originally I released my first 8 books as compilations. I put 2 books in one. It was very generous, really. I just wanted them out there in some form that I could easily get them out to people. Certainly easier than I had when I was self-producing them. Anyway, well, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed some of those pieces. I know that some of them are better than others, but it's fun to go back to them. And I guess the book is called Lovesongs for the Bitter and Twisted, and there's quite a lot of darkness in that collection. And it wasn't necessarily because I was having a bad time, but there were things going on, definitely. Anyway, join us again soon. As I say, plenty of episodes in the can. You take care. Goodbye for now. All right. Bye-bye. couple more poems for you. This one's called What's Your Problem? What's your problem? Don't you like me? Do I come across as loud? Don't I fit in? Don't you want me out of place amongst your crowd? That's a pity. I've been hoping that my membership might take, but it turns out that I bore you. You can barely keep awake. What's your problem? Am I stupid? Quite pathetic in your view? I'm not trendy. I'm a nothing, not as cynical as you. I am faithful like a hound dog. I hear you laugh behind my back. I tried my best to be a good friend. Seems I was never on your track. What's your problem? Won't you miss me once you've sent me on my way? You made your thoughts so very clear, although I never got my say. You accused me of wrongdoings, petty stuff. You made a list, although you failed to even mention how you snogged me once when pissed. What's your problem? You're offensive. You have cut me to the core. You no-good bunch of prima donnas, two-faced fools. Hey, this is war. I never liked you that much anyway. You often made me really yawn. But you've been slacking off my best friends, so it is handbags now at dawn. What's my problem? Why so cranky? So defensive, tetchy bitch? From now on, no more Mr. Nice Guy, no more all cuddlesome and kitsch. I am choosy whom I'm seen with, only close mates now will do. You're not welcome here now, honey. Be so kind to leave the queue. You're no problem, you are nothing. I no more care to curse your name. Oh, please just fade away forever, then perhaps I'll do the same. No hard feelings, I won't miss you. I really will, you know I lie. What's your problem? Don't you want me? How did it come to this? And why? Well, from reading that one, that was definitely written around the time when my two friends turned against me for not towing the line and not wanting to dump friends, just dumping people for the sake of it. Definitely a good example of turning upset into a piece of writing. But even though I used to, as I say, always blow things up to slightly more ludicrous proportions, but, that's just the shyety way.
I gotta go now! Bye!
I want to go with you!
Gotta go! Bye!
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye,
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Yes, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Wow. Really? No kidding.
Thank you, darling. And you too. Bye-bye.
This show is part of the Pride 48 network. Find more shows over at pride48.com.
Oh dear. What's going on now? Oh, it's the Shy Life Podcast. Let's go.
I have a voice.
I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice.
We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
That is so cringe, oh my god.
You're a man of culture as well.
I'm not sure this is a very topical poem, considering the time of year, but, well, it's called Wicked Santa. It also ended up in a collection that I did called Too Slushy for Snowmen, a little compilation I did of all my sort of Christmassy poems. I'm not really a very Christmassy person, but I went through a stage of reading on the radio, and I was often invited on around Christmas. But none of my poems are super happy Christmas poems, more cynical. But I had written quite a few over the years, and Too Slushy for Snowmen became a compilation of those poems, and Wicked Santa was one of the poems that went in there. Wicked Santa. What did Santa bring me? What did Papa Santa bring? A cute and furry bunny with unsightly nipple ring, a box of rock-hard toffees, a bloody body bag, a shapely sexy model who's in truth an evil hag, a purse that's full of money, legal tender, now no more, a replica Titanic without a ship to shore. I had visions of a roller, but I'll probably get a hearse, a punctured rally chopper, or an ancient wicked curse. Win the jackpot at the bingo, spin the roulette wheel again, win a fiver on the horses, I invest and yet in vain. Do I expect too much from Santa? Have I been a wicked man? Yes, I know I'm over 30, but I behave the best I can. Back last year he came to visit, but brought along with him a bill to pay my ex's debts off, and I'm paying them off still. Oh, what will Santa send me? When he comes, begin to fear. Lots of yummy goodies, which could cause me diarrhea. Christmas for the children, Christmas for the mad. I'm going to kidnap Santa and perhaps be really bad. I may well dress up as St. Nick. I might just steal the nicest stuff. Give myself a happy Christmas, because perhaps you must play rough. What did Papa Santa bring me? Well, he brought the whole darn lot. I will have a dead good crimbo, although you folks, alas, will not. Well, there's a lovely Christmas message to that one. Dear oh dear. They really were love songs for the bitter and twisted. Apologies, listeners. I'm sure you will get a Christmas present. I'm sure you will. There'll be an episode of the Shy Life podcast at the very least. Yeah. What more could you wish for? Hee hee.
Ew! What's that smell? You know, I haven't been on Paul the Shy Yeti's little podcast for a long time. I don't know.
Gee whiz, the way Paul Chandler the Shy Yeti travels around gives me a rash.
I'm a big fan of his poetry.
Oh my god, is this show over with yet?
This is just the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
735. 735. Oh, Jesus, sorry about that.
735.
That was beautifully done.
You can always call me.
Well, I fancy bungee jumping, or perhaps a free-fall glide, or perhaps a free-fall guide, or perhaps a free-fall or perhaps a free-fall glide. He was surely the most jealous man, and worse than ever, he was mean. He was jealous of happiness, jealous of those who ran around starkers and shed all their clothes. From now on, no more Mr. Nice Guy, no more cuddles, no more all cuddlesome and kitsch.
Oi oi, that's your lot.
Et voilà.